Welcome to Good Thing, Bad Thing. I am Jabby Kway.
And it's your boy, Sintel. Ding, ding.
This is a show where two pompous, self-righteous assholes debate nonsense for your entertainment. Windows moves forward and is leaving Internet Explorer behind.
Really? So they finally quitting that old
They're
bitch.
finally quitting Internet Explorer. Just so y'all know, just so everyone's aware.
I used to love Netscape because he had that little picture of the comet kind of like shooting over the thing. I thought that was the coolest thing ever, and solely because of that little damn icon is the reason why I use Netscape.
So check out this photo right quick, man. This is the guy from Game of Thrones, the huge guy. Who's,
oh yeah, the Dothraki king.
The Dothraki guy. He's playing Aquaman, and this dude went up to him at some kind of convention and said, "Hey, so apparently Marvel Comics hates you guys, hates DC. There's like this rivalry, this beef again, or something like that." He's like, "Can you say something about that on this poster?" And he wrote, "Fuck Marvel," right on his signature. You see this? Right on his signature. This went fucking viral all over Twitter.
Oh wow! I think he overstepped, but way to back your horse.
Yeah.
You know, Horse King. I think he's gonna make a dope Aquaman.
Yeah. That guy's actually, he sounds like a really nice guy. I was watching an interview.
After he writes down "fuck Marvel," but no, you know what he sounds like?
I watched him. I watched him in an interview on some talk show. I forgot what the talk show. I think it was who's the guy who's always laughing in the middle of his skits? It's Jimmy Fallon. I think it was a Jimmy Fallon interview, or it was Jimmy Kimmel. One or the other. He just was like the most fun, kind of chill dude. And you know he's married to the girl from the Cosby Show?
Which one?
You know who I'm talking about? This really attractive, half black, half white girl.
Lisa Bonet. That's who? Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's married Lisa Bonet.
Damn, he's just winning at life
I
right now.
I remember as a kid having a huge crush on Lisa Bonet.
Yeah.
And I guess all of us did. And he was recounting watching her on TV and being like, "That's who I'm gonna marry." And then he got fucking famous and married her.
Wow. Just to show you all, little boys and girls, your dreams can come true.
All right, let's get to it. My good thing is DVD and Blu-ray warnings and previews. Now, I love it when I put in my DVD or Blu-ray and a warning pops up and I try to hit fast forward and it won't let me. It is impeding my ability to skip this because it needs to be in my face, because otherwise, if I couldn't skip it, I would start stealing movies left and right. Like, I know myself. I would just go on Napster, because that's what we still use, and steal everything that I can possibly steal from Hollywood. It's not enough, though. That warning isn't enough. I tell the TV, give me one more. And then piracy isn't a harmless crime, isn't a victimless crime pops up. I'm like, thank you. The guilt has settled in hard. I feel so much better now.
Have you seen some of the warnings where they actually talk to like some of the
commercials?
And they're like, "I can't put bread on my table because you've downloaded an episode of Spider-Man 3, and now my family's gonna go homeless." I'm like, really, dog? Come on.
I love all the previews. I love that I pay $30 fucking for Mulan, and they shove all these previews in my face because I would be mad if there were no previews. I would be so upset. Like, how do I know what to buy next? How do I know what to buy for my child who needs more fucking movies, who needs more cartoons? You can't skip it so that your child cannot be exposed to it. They know because Disney won't let you bypass the previews. Thank you, Disney. Thank you, all Blu-rays, for not letting me skip a damn thing. I remember I was trying to watch, Faye generously bought me the Breaking Bad barrel. And
so jealous.
When you buy something that's that expensive,
right?
You'd hope that they would just let you skip the previews, skip the bullshit. You'd hope there'd be no previews at all. You're just trying to get to the show.
Right.
I timed it, and within 20 seconds, I could load an episode on Netflix of Breaking Bad. It took 10 minutes to get to an episode of Breaking Bad on my Blu-ray because of the loading and the previews and this and that and trying to skip and getting to the menu. The menu's got to load, got to navigate through the menu. It took a long fucking time.
See, it's them giving you a surface that's supposed to be quick, easy, and efficient. You're supposed to be able to get your Blu-ray, pop it in, and watch your movie. It's the same argument that I have with Hulu. It's supposed to be like Netflix. I'm supposed to be able to watch my shows all the way through, but instead, they're still forcing me to watch these 30-second commercials. And I get it. There's nowhere near the amount of commercials that I would typically watch on a regular TV show, but I'm paying you so that I don't have to see this shit.
Right.
So they're still jamming their dicks down our throats with advertisements, and then they'll be like, no, but it's different.
Well, to be devil's advocate on that, would you be okay with paying, I don't know, $5 extra?
Even more? Fuck no. I'm already paying you for the service to begin with. I shouldn't have to pay you $5 more so you can take the rest of them damn ads off.
Well, maybe the service is at where it's at, and the ads balance it out. I don't agree with it, but I'm just saying maybe it's a business thing. Like if they didn't have ads, the cost would be a lot more.
What they should do is raise the price point per commercial. Just have one ad in the beginning, just one, and then charge a higher premium rate to the advertisers and be like, listen, we're gonna have this one ad on this one show, and normally if we pay like $500,000 per spot or whatever it is, make it like 5.
I like
just
that.
one. If you're gonna inconvenience me one time. Don't continue to inconvenience me in the same TV format where after the first act goes down, it's 3 commercials. After the second act happens, it's 3 commercials. I'm watching TV again.
Right.
I'm paying for the service so I don't have to go through this bullshit that you're forcing down my throat again.
Right.
It's the same thing with your Blu-ray DVD previews.
For sure.
I've paid for the right to not see your bullshit anymore.
Right. No, exactly. Okay, what's your good thing?
Oh, man. Oh, yeah, okay, so my good thing, internets, you know us and we love our video games, and I've always been a fan of Mortal Kombat, so my good thing is Mortal Kombat's ability to bring interesting new characters to the franchise. Ding! I like doing the ding.
It's not going to be a ding. It's going to be a honk honk.
All right, so hold on. I'm going to show you this right now. I don't know if you've seen it yet. This is the new Mortal Kombat pack that's coming out, and it's got a couple of added additional people that's on here. Tell me what you think.
She looks sexy.
Wait for it.
What? What?
Yes! Yes, Mortal Kombat!
It's like as soon as you hear the little clicking sound, you know exactly what that is.
Oh, and even in the very beginning, when they first bring in the first guy that walks in, all you hear is the They brought in Jason Voorhees. Are you fucking kidding me? This is gonna be amazing. And then you close it out with the Predator. Mortal Kombat. Okay, I'll admit I was more of a Street Fighter kind of person. You know, Mortal Kombat was great because of the death moves and stuff. But you knocked it out the park when they did the Mortal Kombat. They brought in the DC characters. It's like, damn, I can have Superman go up against Sub-Zero.
Yeah.
And just when you think that they can't, you know, up the value of the product altogether, they add in Jason Voorhees and the Predator.
The Predator is a pretty cool addition. That's pretty fucking awesome.
That's dope.
I mean, I'm truth be told, I have long fallen out of love with Mortal Kombat. Like I used to like Mortal Kombat a lot when I was like 13, 14, maybe 15, but it just died for me. I'm like, I'm done with this. And you know, I think maybe I'm a softie or something, but like when it's too violent, I check out. I'm like, this is too much for me. Like in the new Mortal Kombat, you're able to, when you do fatalities, you are literally able to go into X-ray mode or something, or MRI mode, and see exactly what's going on as you destroy their insides.
Okay, if you're gonna do something, go all the way. Don't half-ass. Don't take half measures.
Yeah.
And if you're gonna be like a gore person, Mortal Kombat is like, fuck a half measure. We're gonna take you to the MRI.
And that's why
that's great. I don't even play Mortal Kombat anymore. I really don't.
Yeah.
I just don't play fighters in general.
Yeah.
But I gotta give them props for coming up with new and creative ways of reinventing the franchise.
Right. It's funny you bring this in, man, because I was looking up this morning. I was trying to find something. I wanted to know if violence in media and violence in video games had any correlation to how people behave in real life at all.
Okay.
Because Michael Moore, I'm mentioning him again. I'm not like a big fucking Michael Moore fan, but he mentioned in one of his documentaries that, you know, Japanese have super violent cartoons, super violent video games, and their crime rates are way lower than ours. Their fatality rates are way lower than ours in regards to crime. Right. And so, always going back to that as a thought and a sort of evidence, empirical evidence more than, you know, actual evidence. Right. It's like I have to take that into consideration. But I looked it up, and there was like a statistic online that said that there is a an association with aggressive behavior.
I think there is.
You know, and it's like, I don't want people to take violence out of media, but sometimes it's just too much for me. On a personal level, it's just too much for me. Like the level of violence they're exploring in Mortal Kombat, I'm like, I don't need to go there. I just don't need to. I don't see anything entertaining about going to that level of violence, and that's why I've walked away from Mortal Kombat. That's like, it's one thing to be punching someone and like blood is flying out of their face. That's one thing.
All right.
But to go into their insides and see their heart being fucking pulled apart or whatever, it's just like, I'm good. I'm getting sick.
I had a conversation with my mom, and she said the scariest movie she had ever watched, she got a chance to see the original Fly in the theater, the original one, the old black and white one where the guy has like the fly's head on and stuff like that. And she told me it was very terrifying for her because at that time, nobody had ever nobody's really exposed to seeing that type of monsters. Now, of course, in today's age, we've got special effects that blow that out the water, and it's just a guy with a rubber mask on. But for somebody that's never seen anything like that, you know, it can jack them up. Now, if I take that same Fly movie and show it to my son who's 5 years old, he's going to laugh his ass off.
Right.
So I think we're at that level now where people are so comfortable with the ultra violence.
They're desensitized.
They're completely desensitized to it. So I do think that these games do have an effect. It's that you don't appreciate the sense of danger anymore.
Right.
And these kids that are walking into schools, I'm not saying that video games make you shoot up schools. I'm not saying that at all.
I'm not saying,
I do think that there's a more of a comfort level of you don't have the shock of seeing an M4 or an M16 or whatever. I do think that does play some type of part because there's that old mantra, life reflects art and art reflects life.
Right. Not to derail the conversation a little, but when you mentioned the Fly and the old episode, I started thinking of the toilet in Psycho because that was a huge deal at the time.
Yeah.
It was like a huge deal to look down the toilet with the camera. I'm like, I can imagine the audience is looking at the toilet and be like, like, he showed the toilet flushing. How could he?
But it was just the blood. It was the blood that got people jacked up. And you know what's crazy? In case I'm sure you already know in pop culture land that was chocolate syrup that they used.
Okay. I don't, but it's an intense scene even today. It's a pretty intense scene, but showing the toilet is just funny to me. Like, how is that such a big fucking deal?
All right, so we both have little people in our lives.
Yes.
What level of violence are you allowing, or would you allow, or do you think is considerable for somebody under the age of like 10?
I think it varies from child to child and what they're comfortable with. I think that's the best way to handle it. Like, some kids can't stand it at all. I've taken Chloe to watch some pretty violent stuff, and that's like, I know when something's gonna bother her. She gets bothered when something's gonna be gory. She's like, violence, fight scenes, even blood doesn't scare her so much, but really, really, really scary stuff is what bothers her.
Right.
That's when she can't, even if it's a PG movie.
Right.
It's when it's scary it bothers her, not so much the violence for some reason. I don't know why. So that's a hard question to answer. I think it just varies. Like, that almost leads into a whole other discussion about our school system. It's like, not all 8-year-olds are made for 3rd grade.
Right.
You know,
right.
I think the school system's messed up, but that's a whole other discussion I won't get into. American school system, I think it needs to change, but...
Okay.
Yeah.
So you just did a reaction film on that new movie, Pixels.
Yes.
Yeah, check out the reaction film. It's really good. And that takes 80s regular joystick Atari type video games. It puts them in a real world.
Yeah.
All right. Now, in this new real world setting with that content where they're taking stuff like Centipede and they're killing people with it, and Donkey Kong is rolling real barrels and crushing people with him, and Pac-Man is chomping off people's hands and stuff like that.
It's not exactly that. They're turning them into pixels.
They're turning them into pixels, but, you know, a hand is still being chomped.
It is, but he's turning into a pixel of himself.
That dies.
Oh, he dies? I don't
know. Well,
I mean, know that.
When you see the destruction from the pixels interacting with stuff, it doesn't seem to come back. I don't see them.
It doesn't seem like it's pleasant.
I don't see them, you know, hitting some up, down, left, right code to get 30 men to come back into the movie.
Right.
So I'm just saying you took something innocent.
Oh my God, you just said something that cute, something in my brain that I need to show you if I can find it really fast. Keep talking.
No, so you take something sweet, innocent in the 80s and we put him in today's mainstream and then made it a lot more violent. Of course, there's a little bit, I think that movie looks like it's going to be like PG-13 at the absolute most.
Okay, so...
But they stepped up the violence in it. That's all I'm saying.
This is, we should have brought this up in the comments. I forgot to. I'm going to show this to you guys right now instead. This is a photo you posted a while ago. The only reason you're not trying so hard is because you haven't realized you are on your last life.
I remember that.
Right?
Yeah.
And I commented, and I said, I have Game Genie. Up, up, down, down, left, right, select, start, down, R, up, LYB.
I remember that. Oh my God, yeah. Yeah, that is true. That is true. Run this thing like it's Mario with one life left, baby.
Anyway, that completely derailed the conversation a bit.
No, that's good.
I think it's awesome, just to go back to this, I think it's awesome that they're bringing Predator in, but I'm not going to play it because I'm not for that kind of violence. If you're able to enjoy that kind of violence, more power to you. I hope it doesn't like desensitize you and make you less human emotionally. Hopefully it doesn't disconnect you from reality, but I can't deal with it, especially with a kid now. For some reason, I can't deal with that kind of content anymore. It's not for me.
You weren't a fan of the Grand Theft Auto series, were you?
I bought the last Grand Theft Auto game, but you know what bothered me more than the violence?
What?
I'm such a fucking softie. This is like the stupid conservative part of me that I can't fucking kill. It bothered me how many F-bombs were in that game.
Yeah, well, I mean, it looked like an HBO movie.
But it's like, it was worse. To me, that's worse than all the Sopranos episodes combined. How many F-bombs were in that game? I'm like, I feel like I've been around some pretty bad people, and I didn't hear them cuss that much.
I say the F-bomb a lot. Why am I saying F-bomb now? This is a podcast. We don't have
It's just a
sponsors.
reference. But my whole thing is just like, it's abused in that game. It doesn't feel like it's real. It feels like it's abused. And that scene when you were able to torture the guy and pull out his teeth and stuff like that,
yeah.
I was like, this is a little much for me. And the controller was like vibrating. I'm like, this is pushing it a little too far for me. I'm sure in 20 years, people are going to be like, people were bothered by this, just like we're looking at the toilet flushing thing as a joke.
Right.
I'm sure that's what's going to happen because over time you get more acclimated to more stuff. But I'm like, where does it stop? Where do you hit the roof?
I want you to hold that thought right there because when we get to my bad thing, we're gonna address that. So let's go ahead and jump to the next one.
Yeah, let's move on. Let's move on. Okay, my bad thing.
Yeah.
Endless feeds in social media. So social media and the internet in general is now, to me, akin to living in a city full of naked, beautiful women. Like just jam-packed with naked, beautiful women. Like you go out and it never gets old, right? It never gets old.
Right.
You go outside and there's naked, beautiful women and you're not over it. And you get distracted. It's like, how do you function like this?
Right.
Like you try to, and you can't talk to them. They won't give you the time of day. Not one, right?
All right,
That's the internet to me now.
Right.
That is social media to me. It's like you keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and it's all interesting stuff and you can't let go. Even like the ugly bitches, you can't stop looking at, right? Because you scroll and it's like, that's not so interesting, but I'll just scroll and find another one.
Right.
And there's no thing that pops up that says, hey, maybe you should stop and go back to your life. Maybe you should stop and go back to being productive with something. Right. But even if that popped up, I don't think I'd listen. It's almost like Nintendo saying, why don't you take a break? Nintendo games have this message that pops up all the time. If you're playing for more than fucking 2 minutes, it's like, hey, maybe you're tired. You should stop. I'm like, fuck you, Nintendo.
Yeah.
Let me keep playing my fucking game. You're taking away the fun.
Right.
So that's how I look at it. It's just this endless thing. You go everywhere and it's like you're trying to drive and there's endless fender benders. Your license gets suspended because you keep looking at naked chicks on the road and you crash. You can't get to your job on time. You lose your fucking job because you can't get there. You're homeless and there's naked chicks everywhere who won't give you the time of day because you stink. It's like, that's the internet to me. It just sucks your life away. It completely discombobulates everything that is remotely functional in your own reality. That's what internet has become because of the endless streams. You can't fucking stop. So I don't even go on Facebook anymore. I check, this is what I do. Mm-hmm. I log in, I look at the first message on the stream, and I log out. Whatever that first message is, is the lucky guy that got my attention or lucky girl that got my attention at that moment. Yeah. And that's it. I don't scroll down anymore. Right. Ever. Because it's an addiction. Yeah, it is. It's firing off oxytocin in your brain. Yeah. You're like, oh, this is good, right? And your fucking primitive mind isn't equipped to deal with it properly.
Right. Yeah. It's what it's doing is it's shortening the attention span of everybody, and you see it more in everything now. You see it. People are reading like magazines more than books now, and not even the magazines anymore. Everybody's going to like these quick like buzz feeds and stuff like that because they want snippets. Even your phone is getting constant updates from ESPN, CNN, Fox News, or whatever it is, media outlet that you go to. They don't even give you the full story. They just give you headlines. Everything is just quick. Bam, boom. Boom, your friends. I just went over and had breakfast, take a picture of it. Boom, you're done. You move on to the next thing. You see it in television because the actual amounts of TV that you see is getting shorter and shorter, with the amount of commercials that you see are getting larger and larger. You see it in movies now because the clips, the way that they edit it, the edits are a lot quicker, a lot faster, because you have to keep up with this new attention span that everybody has.
Yeah.
Everybody's got like a 6 to 7 attention span when it comes to movies. If you watch old movies from back in the day, they have these long cuts.
Oh, yeah.
Huge long cuts that are beautiful, and they're engaging because it gives you an opportunity for you to process what the fuck is going on.
Try watching The Conversation.
And
Francis Ford Coppola does The Conversation. Long takes.
Right, and then you got people like Quentin Tarantino where the dialogue is quick, it's choppy, it goes back and forth. People like...
No, but Quentin Tarantino's an exception. He'll let a shot live. He'll let a shot live the way they used to do it.
No, but I'm saying, but the dialogue is what's a little bit more poppy. I had another thought.
Sorry, I fucked you up.
And
I'm
I
so
just
sorry.
lost it.
I fucked you up.
No, but I'm just saying that the short attention span is bleeding into every aspect of our everything. Nobody takes time to sit and notice shit.
Yeah.
I noticed it myself because I'm over here, like LA traffic is retarded.
Yeah.
So you spend a considerable amount of time in traffic. And C.K. Lewis said it best. He said there was a time when you would sit.
Louis C.K.
Yeah, Louis C.K. said it best. He said there was a time when he said he would sit and listen to the radio and a song would come on and he would listen to it to the point that it would move him and move him to tears. Now, me being the polar opposite, when I get in my car and I'm sitting in traffic, I'm that guy that has this phone set up. I don't hold it in my hand. I've got a little thing that sets it up on my dashboard where I can see my phone. And I'm constantly going through songs real quick. I got a podcast I can go through. I got my Facebook posts that are coming up. I got my Twitter feed that's coming up.
I got
all of it. It's just constantly going. I have a hard time just sitting and listening to one thing.
Right. I do the same thing, truth be told, man. I can't even finish songs anymore. I got it like 2 minutes into the song. I'm like, okay, let's go to the next one. And it's constant all the time. And it's like, I don't even know what the point of an iPod is anymore because I'm just skipping all my songs.
Right. You know, that's why there's the death of the album now. You know, everything is singles now. Yeah. Nobody has the time to sit there and listen to a solid album from beginning to end. Even the bad songs. You remember in our days when we had the cassettes?
Yeah.
You know, unless you took the time, it took effort to fast forward. You know, it wasn't like, fuck this song, fuck this song, fuck this song, fuck this song, I'm there. Boom. Yeah. In less than a span of 2 seconds, you've already got your fix of what the song is that you wanted. Right. You couldn't really appreciate going through all the other songs and enjoying it. And what I've done is like my new thing, and maybe this works for me, it may work for you, is like I go on hikes now and I turn my phone off. And I have to go into a place where I have to engage with my environment.
You know what I noticed that you did? We were having dinner when we were taking photos of her sister. And I noticed you did something that was really interesting that I feel like I should do more often, but I'm scared to, is you shut your phone off. You're like, I should shut this off so I can engage in this conversation. Yeah. And you made like, it was very matter of fact, and you made a statement of it. And I'm like, this is weird. Well, yeah, I mean, it's so weird.
We've gotten so accustomed to this thing being on our hip, taking so much of our time away, that it's almost odd to engage with somebody completely. Like, in case you guys don't know, this is one of my best friends in the entire world, and the reason why we started this kind of podcast is that we have these really good, engaged, deep conversations. We go on for hours. Yeah. You know, and our phones are turned off, and we just go. Right. And nobody has that time anymore. Right. Because you don't have it on TV, you don't have it on social network, you don't have it in the music that you engage to, and now we don't even have it with the people that are supposed to be important to us, and we cut them off. Yeah. You know, and the art of listening is a dying thing now.
Wow. That is the quote of the day. I think we've beaten that horse over the,
we've beaten
so, but we clearly agree on that.
So, well, to not kill the horse completely, we just beat on a whole different part. I think the new bad thing is there's a device called the Oculus Rift. So the bad thing is virtual reality and augmented reality are about to take over our world. Now, if you're not familiar with what the Oculus Rift is, it's a device that you put on your head that allows you to have your ears and your eyes virtually inserted into a digital world. And it's a lot different than if you're going to see like an IMAX.
It completely subjugates your reality.
Right. It's different than being in an IMAX where there's a space between you and the thing that's stimulating you. There's a space. Your hands, there's a space. The person sitting beside you is a space.
Right.
The Oculus Rift covers your eyes and your ears so that you are completely engaged. Completely immersed into this environment. Now, I personally haven't put it on, but I know a few people that are in the gaming industry that have worn it, and they've told me firsthand that it can be very disjarring. It can be very jarring, especially when you take it off, because you have certain things that happen in your head and in your ears, basically equilibrium, peripheral vision.
Yeah.
All of this has been changed and is artificially inserted into your brain, and your brain is not built for that, especially if you play for long periods of time. Right. It's a cool thing if you put it on for like a couple of minutes and you're playing a race car game or a jet fighter game and you can see everything else.
Yeah.
But the problem, and what I feel is what's going to happen is that if this catches on, most people that do video games have long video game binges.
Yeah, sessions. Yeah, long sessions, like 8-hour sessions sometimes. Yeah.
Now, if you got this device on your head for the span of a work day, okay, that's going to do something to you. There's an experiment that they did years ago when they had these eyeglasses they could put on people's face, and it turned your world upside down, because your brain does this thing when your light comes through your eye, it flips the picture backward on the back of your eyeball and your optic nerve, and it turns everything forward. So everything you see is essentially upside down.
Yeah.
So they did an experiment where they gave these glasses to these people, where they turned it right side up. And after a while, the brain adjusts. It adjusts and it flipped the image.
What the fuck?
Right. You can look it up. It flipped the image. So after they took the glasses off, your brain still takes a while. So they were seeing their real world, upside down.
Oh, man.
Now think about that for a moment.
Nah, you're fucking crushing my dreams here, man. I was so excited for the Oculus Rift.
I mean, I am. It's awesome. It's an amazing piece of technology to be able to insert yourself into the video game. But the Matrix, man.
Yeah. You know, because what always pissed me off, what always made me reluctant to first-person shooters for a very long time was the hell's flying in front of me, was the limited vision, the limited scope you had.
Right.
It always frustrated me that I was looking at the world like this. I'm like, this is not how it feels in real life. In real life, you can see everything. Right? And I wanted games to be like that. And they've improved that a lot with field of view, where you can increase your field of view and see more peripheral.
Right.
Now today, if you have a powerful enough PC, you can hook up 2 extra monitors to have peripheral vision, and I like that a lot. I think that's the most optimal way to play a first-person shooter. But you can just bypass all that shit if you've got the Oculus Rift, and that's what made me so excited about it, was that it completely immersed you in the game, so it didn't feel like you were looking at things through a box.
Right.
That's what I was excited about, and now I'm fucking...
And you should be excited about it, because that's awesome. That's dope. But as we're talking about the addictions of the shorter attention span and being submerged into this new environment, that's a real slippery slope, man.
Yeah.
And addictions happen very quickly. People, I admit I have a video game addiction to some point. I know I'm at the age now where I know how to turn it off.
Yeah.
But you're dealing with people who may not necessarily have been adjusted to knowing the separation of your play world and your real world, and now you're blending something that's tricking your eyes and your ears and your brain into not knowing what is what.
Yeah, it's not even that, man. It's not even just the adults. It's the kids who are gonna hammer on their parents and ask them for this toy, because it is a toy essentially, and the parents are gonna give in, and these kids are gonna grow up. It's like iPhones are already bad enough, smartphones are already bad enough, where kids are getting smartphones from their parents, which I completely disagree with.
Right.
Like, because Chloe needed a phone, and I told Faye, I'm like, I want to give her the dumbest, most useless fucking phone possible that does one function. It calls us. That's it. And because I look around at kids, and they're all just their faces are like this all the time, and I'm like, how are you socializing?
Right.
Like that's no way to behave as a human being. And now what you're saying makes sense. Like the Oculus Rift is going to be given to children, and they're going to grow up with this toy and not know how to function and socialize properly.
It's a rejection kind of thing that I'm concerned about, because social media rejects real social interaction. And if you got this virtual reality, who's to say you won't reject your real world?
Right. And people do it all the time now. Like, you can't even get... I hate when I call someone and they text me back instead. That's the worst. I'm like, clearly, you've got your phone in your hand. What are you afraid of? Are you afraid of my voice? Is it going to bite you?
Right.
You know, people are so afraid of other people now because this has taken over our lives. People spend like 3 hours a day in their phone.
Yeah.
It's some kind of weird statistic. Anyway, I agree with you. There's good and bad. As long as it's done in moderation, it's a good thing.
Right.
But most people don't know how to do things in moderation. So it's bad. Unfortunately, why?
Because it looks so
Oculus Rift is so fucking cool. All right. With that, we're signing off. I am Jabby Kaway.
This is Sintel.
Thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe, check out our other episodes, and comment below. Let us know what you think.
Don't be scared.
Peace out.